Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Kurana, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Island nation Sri Lanka goes to snap parliamentary polls today. Over 17 million voters eligible to vote. Joe Biden meets U.S. President-elect Donald Trump at White House. Trump picks Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence. Marco Rubio proposed as Secretary of State. Campaigning for assembly elections in India's Maharashtra and Jharkhand in full swing. Leaders of various political parties holding multiple rallies. PM Modi to address rallies in Maharashtra today. And in sports, India beat South Africa by 11 runs in the third T20 International, takes 2-1 lead in the four-match series. And on to the top story this hour. India's southern neighbour Sri Lanka goes to snap parliamentary elections today to elect 196 members to the next parliament. There are 17 million voters eligible to cast their votes for nearly 9,000 candidates. The elections are important as they are expected to completely redefine the political landscape of the island nation. This report provides this in context.
November the 14th is a critical day for Sri Lanka. The island nation is all geared up for parliamentary election. This is a key test for President Anura Kumara Dissanayake, who seeks to secure a majority in the parliament and push forward his reform agenda. Sri Lanka's 17 million voters will decide the fate of 8,800 candidates vying for 225 parliamentary seats. Notably, many first-time candidates are on the ballot as veteran politicians have opted out of this election. The journey to elect lawmakers for a 5-year term began when President Dissanayake dissolved the parliament on the 24th of September, calling for snap elections. Under Sri Lanka's proportional representation system, 196 members will be directly elected across 22 constituencies. The remaining 29 seats will be allocated based on each party's overall share of the island-wide vote. Voters can cast up to 3 preferential votes for their chosen party's candidates. Votes will be cast at thousands of polling stations under tight security, and counting will commence immediately after polls close at 4 p.m. Election results are likely to be announced by the Election Commission on Friday with a new cabinet soon. The key alliances and parties at fray includes President Disanayake's National People's Power Coalition that won only 3 seats in 2020. Another leading alliance led by former opposition leader and presidential candidate Sachit Premadasa is the Samagi Jana Balavigaya. Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, the party of former presidents Mahinda Rajapaksa and Gotabaya Rajapaksa, will also field candidates. For the first time in 88 years, any member of the Rajapaksa family will not contest the election. Prominent candidates contesting the elections include Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya, Opposition SJP leader Sajith Premdasa, former Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena, Vijita Herath, Harsha De Silva, Iran Vikramaratne, and Manu Ganesan.
The conventional wisdom is that the JVP NPP will get enough seats to govern on their own. So overall majority requires them to get 113. Perhaps they will get 120 or maximum 130.
Economic challenges weigh heavily on voters' minds, especially following a steep food and fuel price hikes worsened by tax hikes to secure a $2.9 billion IMF loan.
Anura Kumara Dissanayake has been repackaged, he's been branded. So he's done various gestures that have a certain resonance with the population at large. Yet we haven't seen what the true face of an NPP government is, and I think we'll have to wait for after the parliamentary election.
Thursday's vote is not only a test of Disanayake's vision, but may also signal the public's desire for a shift from traditional power players who have long shaped Sri Lankan politics. With inputs from Dr. Ahmed Moin Farooqi in Colombo, Tripti Tripathi for DD India.
Well, moving on, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump made a triumphant return to the White House on Wednesday, where outgoing President Joe Biden offered a show of civility to the bitter rival who denied him the same courtesy 4 years ago. Trump's visit came as Republicans were declared the majority party in the House of Representatives to give him complete control of Congress. The U.S. President and President-elect shook hands in front of a roaring fire in the Oval Office, with Biden restoring a tradition that Trump broke when he refused to recognize his 2020 defeat by Biden. Upon Trump's return, Biden congratulated the 78-year-old Trump and pledged a smooth transfer of power, while Trump also emphasized on the smooth transition of power.
Well, Mr. President-elect and former President, Donald, congratulations.
Thank you.
And looking forward to having like we said, a smooth transition. Do everything we can to make sure you're accommodated, what you need. And we're going to get a chance to talk about some of that today. So
Good.
Welcome
Thank you
back.
very much. And thank you very much. And politics is tough, and it's in many cases not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate it very much. A transition that's so smooth, it'll be as smooth as it can get, and I very much appreciate that, Joe.
You're welcome.
Well, the U.S. administration is taking shape one name at a time. On Wednesday, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump chose Tulsi Gabbard, a 43-year-old former Democratic representative and critic of the Biden administration, as the Director of National Intelligence. Gabbard, who left the Democratic Party in 2022 to become an independent and was considered a possible candidate to become Trump's running mate, would take over from Avril Haines as the top official in the U.S. intelligence community after the Republican president-elect starts his second term in January. And U.S. President-elect Donald Trump announced on Wednesday that he is nominating Senator Marco Rubio of Florida to be the United States Secretary of State. Posting photographs of the official announcement, Donald Trump described Rubio as a fearless warrior and a true friend to our allies. Sharing the announcement through his official campaign account, Trump War Room on social media platform X, he said that Marco is a highly respected leader and a very powerful voice for freedom. He'll be a strong advocate for the nation, a true friend to allies. Well, Donald Trump also named incendiary Republican U.S. Representative Matt Gaetz to be his nominee for Attorney General, selecting an ally who has faced a Justice Department scrutiny to run the agency. Matt will end weaponized government, protect our borders, dismantle criminal organizations, and restore Americans' badly shattered faith and confidence in the Justice Department. Trump said in a statement announcing the selection, which is subject to confirmation by the Republican majority Senate. Meanwhile, U.S. Senate Republicans elected John Thun on Wednesday to lead the chamber next year, opting for a well-regarded insider and shrugging off a public pressure campaign by supporters of Donald Trump to pick a loyalist to the president-elect. The South Dakota senator's victory is a sign the Senate could retain some degree of independence from Trump next year, when Republicans will control the White House and possibly both chambers of Congress. Republicans will hold at least 52 seats in the 100-seat Senate and are on track to retain a thin majority in the House of Representatives, where several races have yet to be decided. At a news conference, Thun said he would aim to confirm Trump's nominees quickly and work to help him cut spending and bolster border security.
We have a mandate from the American people. A mandate not only to clean up the mess left by the Biden-Harris-Schumer agenda, but also to deliver on President Trump's priorities. We will make sure that the President and his team have the tools and the support that they need to enforce border security laws and to remove the violent criminals who are wreaking havoc in every one of our states.
Well, the Republicans were declared the majority party in the U.S. House of Representatives on Wednesday, completing a clean sweep of Congress and the White House in last week's elections and handing incoming President Donald Trump a vast legislative power. After more than a week of the counting of votes, the channels CNN and NBC projected that Trump's party reached the 218 seats needed to retain their majority in the 435-seat lower chamber, having already seized the Senate from the Democrats. Having control of both chambers of Congress clears the way for Trump to confirm his nominations for key administration positions. After the vote, U.S. congressmen from South Carolina, Joe Wilson, and others recited the Pledge of Allegiance and congratulated the House Speaker on the majority.
Congratulations to Speaker Mike Johnson for his achievements of the passage of critical legislation in the House and his leadership in maintaining the Republican majority.
Well, U.S. President Joe Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping are set to meet on Saturday on the sidelines of the APEC summit in Lima, Peru, for what may be their last encounter before a potentially tougher U.S.-China relationship under Donald Trump. U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan announced that discussions will address rising tensions from Taiwan and the South China Sea to China's role in stemming fentanyl ingredient flows. Biden also plans to confront Xi on China's suspected involvement in hacking U.S. officials' communications, as well as China's support for Russia's actions in Ukraine and North Korea's troop presence in Russia. This marks their first interaction since an April phone call aimed at easing bilateral strains.
Part of what President Biden will communicate is that we need to maintain stability, clarity, predictability through this transition between the United States and China. And he will also really reinforce the point that in order for us to manage this competition responsibly going forward, we have to sustain over the long term the channels of communication at every level, particularly the military-to-military level.
Well, U.S. Ambassador to Mexico Ken Salazar criticized Mexico's security situation, calling it unsafe and highlighting flaws in the previous administration's approach. Salazar condemned former President López Obrador's hugs not bullets strategy, which sought to address root cause of violence, but according to Salazar, did not work. He expressed hope that newly inaugurated President Claudia Sheinbaum would tackle crime more effectively, urging increased security investment.
The reality is that at this moment, Mexico is not safe. So how are things going to work with the United States government to ensure that we reach a point where there is a safety on both sides of the border? And that includes fentanyl, arms trafficking, the crimes, and human trafficking. The hugs, not bullet strategy, did not work.
Well, Israeli forces have launched fresh strikes across southern and central Lebanon again, carrying out at least 4 air strikes. The Israel Defense Forces said on Wednesday it hit facilities used by Hezbollah for military purposes in the capital suburbs, while issuing new evacuation warnings for Lebanese civilians living in specific areas of southern Beirut. Lebanon's health ministry said that 6 people were killed and at least 15 others injured in an Israeli attack on Eremaun, a village in central Lebanon. The exchange of fire came as right-leaning members of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's cabinet expressed support for President-elect Donald Trump's latest picks for his incoming administration. And Israel's defense minister said in video released on Wednesday he would not agree to any Lebanon ceasefire that does not ensure a disarmed Hezbollah withdrawal north of Lebanon's Litani River. Katz, who became defense minister last week, made the comments during his first visit to the Northern Command. His comments come as Lebanon waited to hear Washington's latest ceasefire proposals after a U.S. official expressed hope a truce could be reached.
We will not make any ceasefires, and we will not stop and will not take out foot off the pedal, and we will not allow any arrangement that does not include achieving the goals of the war, which is disarming Hezbollah, withdrawing it from beyond the Litani River, and mainly creating the true conditions for the residents of the north to return to their homes safely.
Meanwhile, Hezbollah said it launched a drone attack targeting Israel's military headquarters and Ministry of Defense in the city of Tel Aviv on Wednesday. In a statement, the Lebanese militant group said it conducted an aerial attack with a squadron of exploding drones on the site housing Israel's main defense institutions. In two statements on Wednesday, the military said it had intercepted 2 drones and 40 projectiles launched from Lebanon in attacks that caused no injuries. Hezbollah and Israel have been at conflict since late September when the Israeli military escalated its airstrikes on Lebanon and sent ground troops across the border. And updates from the Russia-Ukraine conflict as Ukrainian forces repelled a major Russian attack near Kupiansk in northeastern Ukraine on Wednesday. Ukraine's general staff reported Russian forces launched 4 waves of attacks using 15 armored vehicles, including tanks, but Ukrainian defenders skillfully destroyed them and eliminated many personnel. Heavy fighting also erupted in Pokrovsk, where Ukraine repelled 35 of 36 Russian assaults. Meanwhile, President Zelensky reported intense Russian activity in Donetsk, with regional prosecutors confirming a Russian attack killed 2 civilians west of Donetsk city. And authorities in war-racked Sudan have authorized the delivery of UN humanitarian aid via the key border crossing of Adre for 3 more months. Sudan's Sovereign Council said on Wednesday it will extend the use of the Adre border crossing with Chad, seen as essential by aid agencies for the delivery of food and other supplies to areas. Adre, which was closed by an order from the army-controlled government in February, was reopened for 3 months in August until November 15th, and it had not been clear whether that period would be extended. The United Nations welcomed the decision to keep Adre open for another 3 months.
We very much welcome the Sudanese authorities' decisions to extend the opening of the Adre crossing from Chad, for the United Nations to continue delivering humanitarian assistance to people in need in Sudan for an additional 3 months. Adre is a critical lifeline for millions of people, but alone it is not sufficient. As needs continue to spiral in Darfur and across Sudan, it is more important than ever that all necessary routes, including those crossing borders and those crossing conflict lines inside Sudan, are available for the rapid and efficient movement of humanitarian supplies and personnel.
And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Over 66% voter turnout recorded in the first phase of assembly elections in India's Jharkhand. And security ramped up in Paris ahead of Israel versus France Nations Football League clash. Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Vipakshi Khurana, and moving on. Polling concluded peacefully for the first phase of assembly elections in the Indian state of Jharkhand on Wednesday. Over 66% of voting was recorded till 5 p.m. The highest, over 77% voting was recorded from Kharsavan. 43 constituencies spread across 15 districts went to the polls in this phase. Electoral officers claims the voting percentage is likely to increase as reports from remote areas are yet to come. The second phase of polling will be on the 20th of November. The counting of votes to take place on the 23rd of this month. Meanwhile, campaigning is in full swing for assembly elections in Maharashtra and Jharkhand, with senior leaders of various political parties holding multiple rallies and roadshows in the two states of Ghana to garner support for their candidates. Prime Minister and senior BJP leader Narendra Modi is set to intensify BJP's campaign in high-stakes Maharashtra by addressing public rallies in Sambhaji and Nagaram, Panvel and Mumbai today. Congress chief Mallikarjun Kharge and leader Rahul Gandhi also to campaign for the party. Maharashtra will vote in a single phase on the 20th of November, with counting of votes scheduled to take place on the 23rd of November. There are 288 assembly seats in the state. And the government has appealed to the media industry to take part in a big way in the Phase 3 e-auction of private FM channels, which is currently underway. Stating this at the Indian Game Developers Conference in Hyderabad, Secretary in the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting Sanjay Jaju said that the auctioning process of 730 FM channels in 234 small towns will end by January next year, adding there is a need to expand FM radio network in the smaller towns.
We are also going to be conducting a roadshow for the FM radio private auctions that are going to happen all across the country in small towns with 1 lakh population. And I'm sure many small towns in Telangana which do not have private FM radio will get an opportunity to have hyper-local content coming through their private radio stations from which are going to be run by the industry.
And now let's take a look at other stories making news today. In a significant advancement for healthcare in the Chenab Valley, Doda has inaugurated its first histopathology laboratory, marking a major milestone in medical infrastructure for the region. Equipped with state-of-the-art technology, this laboratory is set to enhance diagnostic capabilities for patients in Doda. The people of Jabalpur in Madhya Pradesh welcomed the Lord Ram Maharath Yatra with a grand and heartful ceremony. This significant event, dedicated to Lord Ram, drew thousands of devotees from Jabalpur, filling the city with an air of devotion, celebrating the values and virtues associated with Lord Ram's life. The annual Pushkar Fair in Ajmer is one of the most vibrant and culturally rich festivals in India. This internationally renowned event celebrates the heritage traditions of Rajasthan, drawing tourist and cultural enthusiasts from all around the globe. The historic Baripada Carnival in Mayurbhanj attracts hundreds of visitors from across Odisha and neighbouring states. Known for its rich display of tribal culture, arts and heritage, the Baripada Mela is a celebration that beautifully blends cultural expression with community spirit. The carnival also features a diverse array of local handicrafts and handlooms from the region, showcasing the talent of Odisha's artisans. And in sports, India defeated South Africa by 11 runs in a nail-biting third T20 international at Centurion on Wednesday. With the win, the visitors took a 2-1 lead in the 4-match series. Getting an invitation to bat first, India posted a mammoth total of 219 for 6 with the help of Tilak Varma's maiden T20 international century. India lost Sanju Samson on the second ball of the innings, but Tilak and Abhishek Sharma stitched a solid 107-run partnership to put India in a commanding position. While the rest of the Indian batters failed to fire, Tilak dug in his heels and went on to score his 100 in 51 balls. He remained not out on 107 of 56 balls. In reply, the Proteas were restricted to 208 for 7. The last match of the 4-match series will take place on Friday. And the French police officials have ramped up security ahead of the Nations League match between Israel and France on Thursday. Ahead of the match, protesters took to the streets in Paris on Wednesday, decrying the upcoming soccer match. Some 4,000 police will secure the event, which will be also attended by French President Emmanuel Macron. The authorities have increased security following violent clashes between locals and Israeli soccer fans in Amsterdam last week. Police officers will be deployed at Stade de France and across public transport networks. And Indian badminton star PV Sindhu has advanced to the women's single round of 16 at the Kumamoto Masters Japan Super 500 tournament on Wednesday. Sindhu defeated Thailand's Busanan Ogamburungpan in a swift match, winning 21-12, 21-8 in just 38 minutes and entered in the round of 16. On the other hand, Lakshya Sen had a disappointing defeat against Malaysia's Leong Yung Hwao 22-20, 17-21, 16-21, despite taking the first game of the match. Lakshya's journey came to an end in the first round after losing the match against a lower-ranked opponent. And now updates from IFFI 2024. 15 films will be competing for the coveted Golden Peacock at the 55th International Film Festival 2024. This year's lineup features a rich mix of 12 international and 3 Indian films. 3 Indian films include The Goat Life, Article 370 and Rav Sahib, each film selected for its unique perspective, voice and artistry. They offer a unique take on human values, culture and the art of storytelling. This year, Golden Peacock jury, led by the acclaimed Indian filmmaker Ashutosh Whitaker, includes award-winning Singaporean director Anthony Chen, British-American producer Elizabeth Carlson, Spanish producer Fran Borgia and legendary Australian film editor Jill Wilcock. Together, this jury will determine winners in categories including Best Film, Best Director, Best Actor Male, Best Actor Female and the Special Jury Prize. The winning film will take home a prize of 40 lakh rupees along with one of the festival's top honours. Alright, that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Well, let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Pakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.